Okay, so today I wanted to talk about the Ninja 400. And I didn't want to do like a classic still shot review. I wanted to, stats and specs of the bike are out there already, and there are already a couple review videos, but kind of wanted to go over it, just give my take on the bike. I've actually only had this bike for, I think, 2 months now, something like that. My thought process behind buying this specific bike, knowing that I learned pretty fast, I didn't want to outgrow the bike right away and worry about having to sell it or, forcing myself to stay with a lower class bike. Or lower class engine bike, like the R3 or the Ninja 300. And I was actually really happy when the Ninja 300 came out. I just didn't have the means to buy the bike at the time. And when this came out, it was right away I was just like, okay, this is the bike I want. It has even a bigger engine than the 300 or the R3. It has a gear indicator, which the 300 doesn't have. The engineering behind it, like the redesign of the chassis, and stuff like that is also what, got me to this bike, because I love when manufacturers, whether it's a car or a motorcycle, whatever, they go above and beyond what people are asking, because I'm pretty sure no one was really asking for a bigger engine, no one was really asking for, a better track foundation bike than what was given with the 300. So, to me personally, I feel like Kawasaki went above and beyond what the market was asking for, and I love when manufacturers do that. In terms of the engine, you already know it's a 399 size bike. They increased the compression ratio from a 10.6 from the 300 to a 11.5 on this 400. They also went with a forged camshaft, which is another plus. I know that they redesigned the intake system so that way the air comes directly or more directly into the intake port, so that's a big plus. They redesigned also the radiator and how the fan cover actually it redirects the hot air away from you. I think that's pretty much the engine-wise, that's what they did. Chassis-wise, there are pictures out there with the frame redesign and how it's stronger and lighter than the 300. I think you guys already know the front forks are increased as well to a 41 millimeter, up from I believe it was 37. So that's more rigid and more thermal capacity. Front brake disc is bigger as well, which is 310 up from I believe 290. One thing that people aren't mentioning is that the rear caliper, which isn't a big deal, but the rear caliper has been redesigned internally to have bigger pistons, have larger pistons. So rear shock, I think they said it was slightly redesigned, and I'm still kind of confused on whether it's a 4-way or a 3-way or a 5-way adjustable shock for your preload. I know the manual only shows 3 different settings, but when I read the spec sheets, it says it's a 5-way. I'm not really sure. I haven't played with it. As you can tell, it's a bike that I definitely recommend someone buying. Mirrors. Let's talk about functionality stuff. Mirrors are great. I hate how they look in terms of appearance, but they don't vibrate. The position of where they're at, they work really well. They give me really good viewing angles. You know, sometimes I'm having to reach out or tuck in my elbows, but I'm not. They don't distract from my writing when I'm trying to look behind me, so I'm definitely going to keep them. They're really functional. Brakes, the front brake, I wanted to get on this. Front brake does feel spongy at first, that first few inches of travel. It's not the most firm feeling brake. The bite is not there. I'm using a Brembo SA SP combo pads, but still, I want something that has more bite, more initial feel to it. And I believe stainless steel lines are in order for that. Or maybe even a different master cylinder, but we'll get there when we get there. Alright, I do want to talk about also then, people are having issues with the transmission. I'm not claiming I am. I haven't had any real issues. The only issues I've had is getting used to the positive neutral finder. They have that ball bearing in the input shaft, or one of the shafts in the transmission, for in between first gear and second gear, and it prevents you from going into neutral while you're riding. So while there's any centrifugal force going on, with the positive neutral finder, what happens is that if you come to a stop and you haven't shifted down into first gear already before your complete stop, or if you're in neutral and you come to a complete stop in neutral while the clutch is still disengaged, you have to either re-engage the clutch while you're in neutral, or say you're in second, third, or fourth gear or whatever in that stop, and you try to shift down to first gear, you'll be stuck at second. It won't let you go into first or even neutral sometimes. So you have to re-engage or slightly re-engage the clutch while you're in second, so that way the shafts can line up, that ball bearing gets back into its place, and you can shift into neutral first. And it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens most of the time. And that's the only issues I've had. Now, what other people are experiencing, ride a little slower, cut down on the wind noise. What other people are experiencing is that when they're fifth gear and try to upshift to sixth gear, they will upshift to sixth gear, and for some reason when they keep accelerating, it comes out of sixth gear into a neutral. So when they upshift to sixth gear, it pops back out and it goes into neutral, and they're getting false shifts. But I haven't experienced that. I know some people have experienced it. If you go to the forums, you'll see that. And I'm not sure whether it's a behavior problem, a mechanical problem, or something, warranty issue. But that's what's being reported right now. I want to say I wouldn't not buy the bike if you're worried about that. It's not something that I believe it's a safety issue. Seats. I've heard people not liking the seat. I'm pretty small frames, small butt. Seat's pretty fine for me. riding a couple hours, whatever, throughout the day, it's fine for me. But I'm sure doing a 1,000-mile trip is not going to be the most pleasant ride. So, and I know the ergonomic seat that Kawasaki sells, which also provides you with an inch taller seating position, that people have said that it gives you that it's not worth it, because even though it gives you that more foam, it's not really that much more comfortable. And then it also brings the drawback where now that's extra foam, the seat moves a little bit more, so you don't feel secure as secure as a stock seat while riding that one. The only negatives of this bike, like I said, it's either front brake doesn't have the best feel to it. Some people are reporting some transmission problems. You will have to get used to that Kawasaki positive neutral finder, and the seat being uncomfortable to some. But everything else about this bike I love. And I said it earlier in the video, but if you're planning on buying this bike and you're on the fence, you don't know, I mean, first of all, of course, the most logical thing to do is go to a dealership, test ride it, see if you like it. But other than that, just buy the bike. Just flat out, just buy the bike. It's a fun bike. It's a great bike to learn on. It's not too, it's not too powerful for people that are worried about that. It also gives you enough power to actually enjoy the bike and not worry about outgrowing it a couple months down the road. This is a bike that I think really gives you no excuse to go for a 650 size bike or larger if you're just starting off. It gives you no excuse for that. So it cuts that talk away, and if you need a beginner bike, that 250, 300 size or 650, what you should buy, it cuts that noise out. It removes that whole noise away, because this bike gives you enough power while learning. It just gives you, here I might do a pull though, pulse to the right. That wasn't really full throttle either, but it gives you power. You're not going to be worried about whether I have power. I could pull from 6th gear on the highway, pull, with plenty of power. I'm not worried about being an ant in a highway. So yeah, guys. You guys, like I said, if you have any questions or you want to give me a shout out or comments or anything, just let me know. There are a lot of videos out there too that you can supplement with this to get more information about the bike. And I wanted to leave you guys just with one thing. If you are planning on buying the bike, just do it.